What is up, guys? Today we are back with another past and present career mode. This time we are going with Bayer Leverkusen, the current German champions in real life. So for those of you that don't know, past and present career mode is essentially me looking at some of the best players to ever play for a football club and signing their regen, or signing them if they haven't retired yet in FIFA. And if their regen doesn't exist in FIFA, I'll just sign a player that's very, very similar to them and try and turn that club into the best team in the world. So for example, Leverkusen, one of their biggest ever legends is Michael Ballack. He obviously doesn't exist in FIFA 19. So I'll simply sign a physically strong German central midfielder, a regen, so not an actual real life player. Although you could do that and then he becomes our Michael Ballack. If you want a Stefan Kiesling, you'll find a centre forward or a striker from Germany and he'll be our Stefan Kiesling. So that's what this career mode is about. As you can see here, we signed back Havertz. We signed this random Spanish right back regen who is going to be our Dani Carvajal. We got this random central midfielder from Chile who is going to be our Arturo Vidal. Here we signed Grimaldo back. We signed Son Heung-min's regen. We signed Callum Hudson-Odoi. So that's it. Basically, any player that's very good in the game right now that has ever played for Leverkusen, we will sign. And then we'll try and cook with them. And so we are currently in the 15th season of career mode, which is the final season. So here are just some random players that are currently in the game. We won't be signing these guys because they don't fit the mold of any, ex-Leverkusen player. And also there are some Leverkusen players that I didn't sign, some ex-Leverkusen players that we didn't recreate. For example, Granit Xhaka. I think he had just retired in the game, so I couldn't sign his regen. And then Jonathan Tah is another recent Leverkusen player. I couldn't find any German centre-back that I thought was similar enough to Tah. But here we are in our first game. I always play the first league game, then I simulate the majority of the other league games in that season. The lineup looks a bit messed up. I'm not sure why Havertz is on the left. I think that was just a glitch. And I apparently didn't even show that match, okay? But here are just some of the best players in 2032, 15 years into the game. The Raheem Sterling regen, you've got Mbappe, you've got, I think that's an Aguero regen, and then you've also got Vinicius Jr. So here are some of the most expensive transfers in the 15th season of FIFA 19, in case you're interested in that. Our ex-Napoli team, who are comfortably the best team in the game right now, did win the Super Cup after winning the Champions League last season, after winning the Europa League last season. I did want to stay there one more season just to see what we could do. I hadn't done a past and present with a Bundesliga team yet. So first, Champions League group stage game, and the Son Heung-min regen crosses it into Kai Havertz to make it 1-0. Ezekiel Palacios into the Stefan Kiesling, into Kai Havertz, into Palacios again. Through ball into Michael Ballack, I believe. I cannot believe I sweated that there. I cannot believe I sweated that instead of just shooting. But we were 2-0 up against Liverpool in the first group stage game of the Champions League. And that was all she wrote. And Kai Havertz was our man of the match. You'll be seeing a lot of that in this save. And as soon as I say that, he misses an open goal in our game against Bayern Munich. That's just scripted. I don't care what anyone says. I don't care what anyone says. That was scripted. But we're back again with a Son Heung-min regen into Florian Wirtz. Into Son Heung-min regen again. Into... And look, I constantly sweaty it whenever I can, okay? So it's 1-0 up. Kai Havertz again. He's popping up a lot here. He is like 91 rated. So it makes sense that he's pretty much one of the best players in the world, in the game right now. Son Heung-min again into Florian Wirtz. And look at that. I switched it last second. The trajectory of the ball was actually headed towards Kai Havertz. The game wanted the ball to go to Kai Havertz, but he had nothing to do with it. He wasn't close enough to the ball, so I had to switch. And the Arturo Vidal regen slips in Kai Havertz, who scores another goal. And we are demolishing Bayern Munich. And as soon as I say that, we concede to make it 4-1. But too little, too late. I'm not sure why he's even celebrating. But watch this. Watch this. Bernd Leno. I think that's his regen. into Stefan Kiesling. And just as in real life yesterday, Edison got an assist. Our own goalkeeper gets an assist. And I literally ran all the way back to him to celebrate with him. So if you didn't know, if you hold down left trigger, right trigger, and the pass button, the player runs back to the guy that assisted him and points to him. I found that out like nearly a decade ago. And I've been doing it ever since. And as you can see here, it's actually the Michael Ballack that ends up being man of the match. I mean, look, fair enough. And after that assist, someone's trying to sign our goalkeeper. And as I said, I simulate most of the games. This team should be good enough to absolutely destroy any team in the game. And as you see, we win 4-0, and we've got the reverse fixture at Anfield. Mate, I tell you what, one of the main reasons I still play FIFA 19 is because it's got the Champions League licensing. Pretty much every other FIFA after 19, I don't like the gameplay of. But this is the only one I find bearable that has Champions League. And this is why, like, it just looks unreal. The Champions League aura is just unreal in this game. This is why I still play it over like FIFA 17. And as you can see, as it stands, we are above Liverpool. As long as we don't lose this game at Anfield, we should top the group and therefore hopefully get a very easy Champions League round of 16 draw. Although recently I haven't been getting the best luck, and what a goal that is. I didn't even want to see the celebration. Liverpool 1-0 up. Second half now, Federico Chiesa, who does play for Liverpool in real life. The keeper gets it, but not as far as Donny van de Beek. And was that Weghorst? I'm about to turn into Mark Goldbridge in a second. Wait, I don't think that's Weghorst, but either way, 2-0 down, and that's just not very good. I don't want to finish second, so... But Son Heung-min regen, takes the ball off Omar Bogle, into Grimaldo, into Ezekiel Palacios, into Son Heung-min, into Stefan Kiesling, makes it 2-1, pick up the ball. We've got to make a comeback here. And Paulinho wins a penalty in the 66th minute. Omar Bogle again. And if you look at the badge, Liverpool, it still says 5, so Liverpool haven't actually won a single Champions League in 15 seasons. That's pretty hilarious. It's because of me though. I stole them all with Arsenal. 2-2, Stefan Kiesling, spamming stepovers. The ball bounces back to him again, and look at that, from 2-0 down. Although I will admit, if I conceded that goal, I would be calling it scripted. And he shushes Jurgen Klopp, and then celebrates with his substitute teammate. Look at that. He's not going to like that one. But too bad, because it's 3-2. From 2-0 down on ultimate difficulty isn't easy, I'll tell you that. And at the moment, it's looking like we might be one of the Champions League favourites as we top our group. Look at that. And Napoli finished second, even though I signed a bunch of overpowered players with them last season. That's literally the worst team we could get here. Literally any team here, I'd wipe the floor with. And Bayern Munich finished third. Keep an eye on them, because you're going to be shocked at something that does happen with Bayern Munich at the end of the season. But I'm just more shocked at how Napoli finished second. Vinicius Jr. wins the Ballon d'Or. Congrats to him. But I think you know what comes next, guys. Typical FIFA. The one team you don't want to draw, full of 90 rated players. Yeah, we got Napoli. We finished first in the Champions League group, and we got the literal best team in Europe in the game right now. Yeah, I think that sums it up pretty well. And I think after this happened, I was so angry. I didn't want to play a single other game for the rest of the season. I didn't even play the cup final with Leverkusen, I don't think. All I could think about was this game against Napoli. And here we are at the Diego Armando Maradona Stadium. with quite a task ahead of us of beating this very, very strong Napoli team. Who I literally was just managing last season. Getting knocked out by my own team wouldn't be too nice, would it? Okay, here we are in the game. And this random right back, who I didn't sign, I think he was at the club last season. But we're on the counter here with Paulinho into Callum Hudson-Odoi. Into Kai Havertz. I'm not sure why I passed that. I should have just kept running. And yep, the Insigne regen, of course, is the player to watch. He's literally like 92 rated. And if we score that, the away goal early on, that could potentially win us the tie. But the Insigne regen into this random Georgian striker that I signed last season, who was like 91 rated, I think. You know, I did say they have an overpowered team. And at 1-0 down, Arturo Vidal in the box, and we lose the ball. Into Mertens regen, into the Cavani regen. Into Mertens again. I was fighting for my life here. And he smashes it in the Paulo Dybala regen. And celebrates with the fans. But Son Heung-min regen is up there. Into Michael Ballack, into Callum Hudson-Odoi. That is objectively the funniest goal we could have scored. I had no control over it. So we lost the first leg 2-1. Can we get back? Callum Hudson-Odoi, late in the first half, smashes it, top bins. Bang! 2-2. When I celebrate just how they celebrated when they scored their last goal. But we still have quite the task ahead of us. As you can see, I'm fighting for my life. You know, slide tackles all over the place. But ironically enough, oh my god, this is just embarrassing. And yet, that was a very avoidable goal too. Just poor defending from me. And now it's 3-2. Stephen Kiesling, get it up to Havertz. I don't know what I'm doing here. Okay, it's Stephen Kiesling again. I don't know what I'm going to do here. Cut it back. Goal! 3-3. Even if I have to take it to extra time here, I think that's fine. Because this Napoli team is dangerous. As you're seeing here on the counter. The best way of describing this Napoli team is it feels like player-based difficulty. But this is FIFA 19 and player-based difficulty didn't exist in FIFA 19. I mean, look. I can't get close to the ball. They're just dunking on me every time they get a chance. And as you can see, we lost the game. But I have to say, it's one of the most entertaining Champions League ties I've ever played. And this is why I love FIFA. This is why I love going into these long career modes. What the hell are Chievo Verona doing in the semi-final? This is what I love about the game. This is why I like the long career modes. You know, I know some people like quitting after like 2 seasons. They don't like when regens are in the game. But me personally, that's the highlight for me. That's the literal highlight of the game. And on the last game of the season, just to lift the title. You know, we've got nothing else to play for, unfortunately. I was a bit bitter about that, but let's just lift the title and celebrate anyway. And of course, it was Kai Havertz who scores. He was our player of the season by far. Beautiful skill into Son Heung-min. Cuts it back into Michael Ballack, who scored a lot of goals this season. In the 4-3-3 on FIFA, there's always one player that scores a lot of goals. And I don't know why I did that. But congrats to us on the Bundesliga title. And as it's the last season of the career mode, I will show you guys who won the league. and everything at the end.
Dieses Teil geht nach Leverkusen. Deutscher Meister in diesem Jahr. Bayer 04 Leverkusen. Du kriegst die Tür nicht zu.
But first, let's just go over the squad. We've got Bernd Leno, we've got Danny Carvajal, who did play for Leverkusen. We've got Jens Nowotny, Benjamin Henriks. We've got Lucio, Zé Roberto, Alejandro Grimaldini, Paulinho, Luca Bacchio. I don't think he played at all for us. Arturo Vidal, Michael Ballack. What a player. Jeez. Ezekiel Palacios, Moussa Diaby. Unfortunately, we couldn't get Leon Bailey because he was retiring this season. Yep, that's how far I am in the career mode. Leon Bailey is retiring. Like I'm almost at the point where we have to start thinking about an Mbappe regen, which is just ridiculous. And some of the regens themselves are getting pretty old. Like imagine a regen of a regen. But I think the game would glitch out. I did actually find a way to get into the 16th season on FIFA 19, but the game just glitches out and crashes. So I'm not sure if it's worth it. But as you can see, Napoli won the Champions League against my team, Arsenal. I don't know if I'm happy about the fact that I lost to the Champions League winners. But anyway, thanks for watching, guys.